Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I just got back from a trip to San Francisco. I was there for 6 days during the third week of October and it was bomb. Honestly, I was kind of surprised. I had heard from people that October is the best time of the year to visit San Francisco just because the weather's really nice. It's still pretty warm. And there isn't like too much fog this time of the year either, which I don't know, like I thought summer would be the best time to visit because I also live like in the Northwest and that's really what I would recommend to people, but I am actually really glad that what I heard was right. It was really amazing. The temperature during the day was always in the upper 70s. It was blue skies, clear, no fog, really good. Anyway. So before I went, I did a bunch of research on some things that I wanted to check out. This is actually my third time visiting San Francisco. The first time I was actually in middle school. The second time I was in high school, but it was just a very quick road trip to show my little sister the Golden Gate Bridge, so we were only there for a day. And this was actually my very first time being able to explore the city as an adult and be able to do what I wanted to do. So here are some things that I really enjoyed on my trip and things that I would recommend for you to do. Some of them might be pretty touristy, the majority might be pretty touristy, but there is a reason why. They were super fun. Also, something I'd like to address is I went alone on my trip, and before I went, I had heard some things on the news and read some articles about how San Francisco just isn't very safe anymore and about how it is very dirty. And there was this article about how a medical conference who had been held in San Francisco for the last 40 years or so decided to not hold the conference there anymore this year just because of the state of the city. I had heard that there was poop all over the streets and like needles used for drugs all over the streets, and I was a bit nervous going just because I was by myself and you know, it doesn't sound super fun to visit a city like that, but I was actually very happy because I remembered it being really nice when I went the last 2 times, and it was how I remembered. I saw people cleaning up the streets, like whenever I was walking around, there were people hosing down the streets. I never saw poop once. I saw more poop in New York than I saw in San Francisco, and I didn't see any needles at all. Like, I know the news tends to cover negative things, and maybe I just wasn't in the part of the city where that was. But I explored pretty much the whole city. I was told to avoid the Tenderloin area, which I did. I only went on the outskirts of it one day with some other people, but I walked pretty much the whole time I was there, and I didn't see anything concerning. So if you're thinking about visiting by yourself, or if you're just worried about going just because of what you've heard, I would say you'll be fine. It'll be good. Just to clarify, just in case anybody's worried about it. Anyway, here are 15 things that I really enjoyed and I recommend for you to try in San Francisco. I hope you like it.
Camera Obscura. Located on a cliff near the beach, this unique building not only looks like a camera, it is one. It projects the outside surroundings onto a large bowl inside the building, slowly rotating, showing the beach and the ocean. Sutro Baths. Built in 1896, this was once the largest indoor swimming pool in the whole world. The building burnt down in 1966, but you can still visit the ruins on the beach. Golden Gate Park. 20% larger than Central Park, the Golden Gate Park contains just as many activities, including boat rentals, golf, soccer, the Dutch windmill, buffalo padlock, fly casting pools, Shakespeare Garden, the California Academy of Science, and much more. Japanese Tea Garden. Also located in Golden Gate Park, this garden has been around since 1894 and features an arched drum bridge, koi ponds, zen gardens, and pagodas. Just a tip, there's also free admission on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday before 10 a.m. Golden Gate Bridge. Other than it being a proper icon, it's absolutely mind-blowing to realize the sheer size of the bridge after only seeing it in photos. There's also a welcome center nearby where you can learn about its history. The Museum of Ice Cream. Coming from a hardcore ice cream lover who worked at an ice cream shop for 6 years during school, this is amazing. Being able to try different varieties of ice cream while going through creative and cute displays was like a childhood dream come to life. Fisherman's Wharf. Offering up good food, entertainment, shopping, and sea lions, the perfect formula for a chill day of sightseeing. Lombard Street. Called the crookedest street in the world, made up of 8 sharp switchbacks along 12 blocks, this road was built in this way because the hill was too steep for most cars to drive on. Mr. Holmes. Famous for their cruffin, a croissant muffin hybrid, they also offer matcha croissants, Earl Grey and honey cream donuts, and French onion savory danishes. Their flavors are always rotating, so it's exciting to see what new flavors they'll have for the day. MoMA SF. A must for any art lover. During my visit there was a special exhibition for René Magritte's work, which was interesting to see. I have to admit, sometimes I don't really get some modern art, but there were tons of amazing pieces that made the visit definitely worth it. The Painted Ladies. Most recognized from the opening sequence to Full House, the Painted Ladies are unique and beautiful pieces of architecture. Around 48,000 of these styles of houses were built in San Francisco between 1849 to 1915, but the row across Alamo Park remains the standout. Alcatraz. Perfect for anyone who loves history, there are constant tourists visiting the island. You can walk through the abandoned prison while listening to audio guides recounting the lives of prisoners, staff, and events on the island, including the attempted escapes of prisoners. Crissy Field and Baker Beach. Both beaches on either side of the Golden Gate Bridge offer stunning views of the bridge itself. Relaxing on the beach, listening to the waves and seagulls while watching the sunset behind the Golden Gate Bridge was my favorite evening in San Francisco. Kit Tea Cat Cafe. A unique cafe where you can drink tea and eat a light meal, all in the company of cats. The cafe is home to 16 resident rescue felines and a varied number of adoptable cats. Chinatown. One of the oldest Chinatowns in North America, established in 1848, it draws in more visitors annually than the Golden Gate Bridge. Spanning 24 blocks, it's really like being transported into another country. Palace of the Fine Arts. Constructed for the 1915 Panama Pacific Exposition, meant to celebrate the completion of the Panama Canal, it is one of the very few pieces left from the exposition. It currently hosts events in its theater, including ballets and comedy acts.
Oh, also something that I'd recommend that I didn't mention in the video. As I said, I was traveling by myself, and usually when I do that, I really enjoy staying in hostels in order to meet people. The hostel that I stayed in this time was called the Green Tortoise Hostel. It was really nice because it was in the city, so it was very easy to get places. I walked most of the time, and it was really easy to get around. You can also take the bus, which a lot of people that I met did. I personally took Ubers, and it was also very cheap to get around. Usually, on average, a ride was under $5 to get to the absolute opposite side of the city. So I thought that was great. And this hostel also offers free dinners 3 nights a week. And I don't know how this works, but like they have a deal with these cafes nearby, and whatever they don't sell at the end of the night, instead of throwing it away, they give it to the hostel, and then you can just take whatever food you want, which, like, I'm not complaining. I don't know if they also gave it to the homeless population, but it was pretty awesome, really generous and nice, and actually tried some of the food. It was really, really good. So if you're trying to save money by not staying at an expensive hotel, this would be a really good option. And you also get a ton of free food, and everybody that I met was super cool. So maybe just something to think about. I also heard, like, I don't know what it is, but people just have this stigma against hostels where, like, I don't know. Maybe it's because of this movie that came out. I think it was called The Hostel. I think it was a horror movie. Or whenever I tell people I stayed in a hostel, they're just like, oh, you didn't get murdered? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I've stayed in them a lot. I stayed in them a lot in California and when I was backpacking through Asia, and I only have good things to say about them.